Hi, my name is Aleesha, and thanks for joining me today. If you haven't been here before, thanks for joining me for the first time. We are going to spend a little while, over half an hour, drawing together. I'm going to show you ways of taking tangles that you learn with Zentangle and making them your own. Just change it up a little bit. Teach you some techniques to just relax and let your art flow. So that's what we're going to be doing today. This is drawingXpressions, and we are a YouTube channel hoping to share art and creative writing with others. That's pretty much our mission. I have my wonderful husband here off camera doing all of my tech. So thank you very much, Pars. He is live every Sunday morning, Bangkok time. And so at 9 a.m. ICT, in case you want to check that out. Okay, so let's start off. Before we start drawing and stuff, let's just take a moment and take a breath. It's always good to just ground yourself before you start doing art. And while you're doing art, just taking a moment to ground yourself as well. So let's just all collectively, on your next intake of breath, draw in your breath and hold it and release. And then let's do that again. Just a nice, beautiful intake of breath. Hold it and release. Okay. My soul sister, Sattva, my sissy, she inspires me all the time, but she specifically really inspired me a little bit ago. And so if you can bring her image up on screen, please, babe. So this is what she drew. And when I saw it, I just went nuts over it. So I had her send it to me so that I could sit and draw it in my own style. And I have drawn and redrawn and redrawn and redrawn sort of from this one inspiration. It's just been absolutely wonderful. So that's what we're going to do today, is kind of my version of drawing Flux, which is the main tangle in her piece. There's also Crescent Moon and another one that I can't remember. Moon Pop or something like this. But anyways, don't come here for names of tangles. That's not why you come. You come here to break them, throw them away, and make something new. So let's begin, shall we? All right, loosen up your shoulders. If you need another intake of breath, go ahead and do that. You can draw along with me, or you can watch the first time and then maybe hit replay and then draw along with me the second time. Whatever your learning style is, I hope that I work within it for you. Okay, so here's our piece, and I am going to kind of be drawing sideways so that it's right for you. So this is something different for me today, and I'm going to do it upside down as well, because why not challenge myself? All right, you ready? Here we go. Rory, I have a cat. I have 5 cats, so you might have flickers of tails because she's helping today. All right, so I'm going to start here, and I'm going to just gently come up. And if you've never done Flux, Flux is you come up, you do a little circle, and then you just come back down again. Okay, so before we go on, Flux is drawn 2 different ways, even by Zentangle themselves. Rick has his way of drawing it. Thank you, Rory. Rick has his way of drawing it, and Maria has her way. And his used to actually be called something else, but then they decided to bring them together and make it one tangle and just 2 different versions of it. So you can do whatever version you want with this one, even more so than the other ones, because they don't even have one single pattern for it. Okay, so we're going to draw this first line. Now we're going to do some organized chaos. And if you've been here before, you know what that term means. And if you haven't, organized chaos helps you to create something that looks really beautiful when it's finished, but it looks really like chaotic. And it's a way of you creating that chaos while making something beautiful. So follow me along. So we've got our first line down. Now we're going to come along and I'm going to do a little bit of organized chaos with this. So I'm going to come up from here. I'm just going to start here and I'm going to come over and I'm going to do one coming in this direction. And I can have it so that it's got legs coming down if that's what I want. It doesn't have to, but it can. It's entirely up to you. Now I'm going to do the same out shape on the other side. So I'm going to come and I'm going to go out and I'm going to come in towards the other. Now I really recommend that you vary your, the size of the little ball that you put on the end, because it'll look better when it's finished. Now this one, I'm not going to take all the way to the bottom. I'm just going to let it finish right there. Now I'm going to come down a little bit and I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to come out and I'm going to do a ball. And the amount of space between these two lines when you come back, don't make it perfect every time. Allow, if you're going for organic, allow that to vary a little bit because it'll look better when it's finished. So now we're going to come from the other side, but we're going to come from the bottom as if we're sort of meeting up with this one, but not. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go like this and have another one. I probably should have done a bigger one here because that one's small, but it's not going to make a difference when we're finished. Trust me. Okay. Now we have the first 5. Now we're going to do this again, but in a different direction. So I'm going to come back up to the top and I'm going to bring a piece down. You might be recognizing this, the way that I'm teaching this a little bit with the, what is it called? Verido, I think, or Verigo or something like that. It's the one that looks like rosemary. Parts is like, I don't know, don't look at me. Okay, so vertigo, something like that. Anyways, we're gonna do the same thing. So we're gonna come down. Here we go. So now we've got going down, so we're going to do the same thing on this side. So we're going to loop down so that it goes underneath. And you can vary which way your balls go, which direction you have them go in. Doesn't have to be the same on each side, just whatever you want to do. Okay, so now we've got that. So we've got the first ones are kind of going up, right? Second ones, we're looping down. So now we're going to go again, but this time we're going to go more straight. So we're going to come in and we're going to come through and draw the ball so that it's more straight. And again. Okay. There we go. And rinse and repeat. So now we look at the spaces that we have, big spaces, and we want to add some more in. So we follow that same idea. So first, we have one that comes and comes up. Then we put one that comes down. And then we add one in somewhere. And this side. I'm going to do the same thing. And as you can see, I mean, it's really such a relaxing way to do some tangles. I have a big helper here. Who have I got now? Oh, this is Cano. This is our male Maine Coon. I don't know if he shows on screen, but buddy, off you go. Keep going, keep going. Thank you. He was like not in a helper space. All right, so you can see that I've done this over and over again. Now I've got some empty spots here that I want to fill. It doesn't always have to be all three. You can just do one. But if you use the three of them, do you see how it's chaotic, but there was organization to your chaos? Hence, organized chaos. So now I'm going to come up here. I'm looking at what my first one is, and I want to think about that as I'm making this one, so that they kind of go together a little bit, I guess. And then I'm going to come over here and fill in this space too. So now I have my flux down. I'm going to change pens. I was using a 12 micron, and that is specifically so that you can see it. That's why I'm using bigger pens, is so that it shows up really well on camera. It's also, you know, well, I work really big now, so I guess I can't say that's why I'm working so big, because I'm working on bigger paper than this now. It's crazy. I used to work on such small paper. Anyways, let's stay focused, Aleesha. Stay focused. I don't have coffee. You see, that's the problem. I have water, but there's no coffee. Coffee is the nectar of life. I'll make tea. That's so good. Okay. Now we're going to change gears a little bit, and we're going to start filling in the space. So we've kind of got a trunk here, and you can have this trunk be as wide and thick as you want, or it can be as narrow as you want. You don't have to carry all of these down, as you saw that I didn't in this one, because I didn't want this to be super thick. I want it to be more about what's filling in the spaces and these actual little branches, instead of it being about the thick trunk on the up and down. So now we're going to switch over, and we're going to use crescent. No, let's not do crescent moon yet. Let's start off with, I think it's called moon pie, something like that. Anyways, so I really like this. I saw it on Seva's and I just absolutely fell in love. So what she did, and I'm not using any specific pattern really. I'm just kind of doing what she did and then making it my own. So I do a little double ring, and then I just come up. Sorry, this is a bit awkward for me. And I'm just going to add some lines in this, just so that I've got some texture in that bottom bit. And now this top bit, you just sort of make it however you want. I look at it as like a little crown. So add some circles. Now I'm going to add a little aura. An aura is whenever we draw a line around a line that we've already drawn. That's aura. And now I'm just going to do some little mist, as it's called. There, that looks cute. Little dots on them. Okay, there's one. And so now I just sort of add a few more of these. And I like it with just the lines, but you could fill this in solid. You could do whatever you wanted in this part of it. Well, you can do it for the whole thing, quite frankly. I'm going to start in the center here and then work my way over, because I know that I'm not going to finish those circles on the ends. There we go. And then I'm just going to do a similar thing on the top. Oh, but I'm going to do it twice this time. And then I'll do, let's see. Just to change it up, just to put something different on the top. So that you can see, you can sort of fill them in however you want. Now, I really like, on this particular one, I really like to get a few of these in by the stalk. It darkens it really nicely and it makes it look good, in my opinion. So I'm going to go for another one here. And I'm going to do black circles on this one, just because I can. There, that looks cute. And then I'm not going to put anything on the top of it, just to show you the variation. Okay, so we have a few of those. You could add them further out as well. You can do whatever you want on this. You can also make them go further down, whatever. But we're moving on. Crescent moon, that's the next one. So this is just a variation of crescent moon. We're not going all super crescent moon stack of coins. Like, we're not going all crazy. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose, first of all, 3 areas that I'm going to put crescent moon in. And so I want to look at my piece and I want to decide, okay, I'm going to put crescent moon in this area, and I think I'm going to put it over here and then over here, so that it's staggered. So let's do that, and then we'll go on from there. So let's start off in this big one, how I would do this one. So I go in and I do my little half ladybug. Is this okay on screen? Can you see this okay? Yes. And I'm going to do 2 lines around my little half ladybug. 2 auras. And then I'm just going to do another one. And 2 lines. And then I'm going to go this way. Just rinse and repeat. So while I'm doing this, I'm just going to pause for a second, move my shoulders around. They're a little stiff this morning. My neck, take a breath. Nice inhale. Hold. Yes. That's nice. Another thing that's nice when you're breathing is you can also do some affirmations if you wanted to. It's a nice way to let go of stress. See how nice this is looking? So I'm just going to come here, add it here. Now, normally I would be turning my page, but today I'm challenging myself not to turn my page so that you guys can see best. So we'll see how this works out. It's working out so far. I'll continue as long as I can. I hope you can't hear the dog parade happening outside. We are in a dog neighborhood. Oh, that's looking nice. Okay, so I can fill in this space if I wanted to, or I could leave it. It's a choice, and so I'm going to leave that space, and I'm going to continue moving on over here, because I'm going to put a different pattern here instead. It's so simple, just a little half ladybug. And then 2 lines, little rainbow. Boy, if you're stressed, drawing rainbows is the way to go. I can do one more over here. I really like how that looks. So then I would do the same thing over here. But you know what? Let's change it up. Let's show you a different way that you can do it. So I could do it with just one around it instead of two. So let's do some of that and see how that looks. I mean, we have lots of space to fill in. We can do lots of variations. And keep in mind that when you're doing variations, sometimes less is more. Like keeping it a little bit less, you know, chaotic, that things are changing too much, which is why when I'm doing this, I'm trying to keep all of my shapes rounded so that they all work together better. And I'm trying to make sure that I don't have too much going on that the eye is going to really get lost, because it is a busy piece and it gives a lot for the eye to look at. But we don't want it to be uncomfortable for the eye. It's kind of like, you know, when you're watercoloring, using watercoloring, you make sure that the colors are they work together. It's the same sort of thing. Okay, so we've got the open space in the center, which I think looks really cool, with these just one little bump. Now I'm going to do over here and we'll do something different. So let's instead have our center not colored in, and then let's do two lines close to each other and darken those in. So now we're darkening the outside instead of the inside. So we got the outside, or sorry, the inside, and then we got the rainbow on the outside. Another one. So I hope you get the idea that you can do like anything with this. When I'm looking at something like this and I want to do a variation, but I just, like, my brain just can't figure out what to do that's different, I usually just think about, can I aura it? Can I draw a line around it and make it look different? Can I add dots onto the outside of it? They're called perfs, P-E-R-F-S in Zentangle. And that's when you go around and you go like this and you add your little dot onto the outside. Now that completely changes the way that that tangle looks just by doing that, right? So when you're trying to think of ways to change it up, adding an aura or a perf is a really easy way. So if you've got rounded corners, try sharpening them. And if you have sharp corners, try rounding them. That's a really easy way just to change up what you're doing. If it's supposed to be small, make it big. If it's supposed to be big, make it small. Yeah. My favorite part of this is that you can just keep bending the guidelines. Oh, I went to turn my page. Trying not to do that. You can just keep bending the guidelines and making them whatever works best for you. Right? Because my perfs can be circles, but they could also be like little tiny triangles. So if I come here, like a little tiny triangle, right? So you can always change it. You can always make it different. It doesn't have to be same all the time. If you make a mistake and you do something and you're like, ugh, don't really like that, I think that kind of sucks, do it 2 more times. I know that sounds crazy, right? But if you do it 3 times in the piece, it looks like you meant to do it. Don't tell anybody it was a mistake. Don't tell them. If you don't tell people what's wrong with your art, they won't see it. Like, you have no idea how many times people have said to me, oh, I got this wrong, I got this wrong, I got this wrong. And I looked at the art piece first, and then I looked at what they wrote, and then I looked back at the art piece. Now I can see all the things that are wrong, but I didn't see them before they told me what was wrong with it. So don't tell people it's wrong. They think that it's right. Like, it's okay. It's art. It's supposed to be your own interpretation of whatever it is. So allow that to just flow. So yeah, if you go spiky and you're like, oh, I don't really want spiky on here, and there isn't really a way for me to change it that it's not spiky, well, okay, so let's add a couple of spikes here and there on the piece that don't necessarily make sense. And now it makes sense because people will see it more than once. I know, it's crazy. It works. Back to drawing. Okay. Here we go. Just let you see what I'm doing. Give you a chance to really look at it. Here we go. Okay, so now we're going to change things up, and we're going to add some orbs. Just some balls. They can be clear or dark, whatever you want. I'll just put one right here. We'll get started. If you've been here before, you already know this. Bear with me. When you're making these black balls, you have 2 choices. Obviously, you can start from the center or you can start from the outside. If I know how big I want it to be and I only want it to be that big, I start from the outside. If I don't really care how big it is, I start from the center. That's how I do it. You do it your way, but that's how I do it. And I do it that way most of the time. Sometimes I end up getting sort of in a flow and I don't follow my own little way of doing it, but that's how I do it. Sorry, I want to bring a couple more of these in here. That's how I do it with the black balls if I'm going to add them. Okay, here we go. So now I'm going to do another one. And another one here. And another one here. Here. There, I like that. This one a little bit more round. Okay. Now we're going over here. So over here, I'm going to add a circle. You know I love these with the portal. There we go. And then in here, I'm going to add some that are a bit looser. Just to show you the variation. So you have lots of choices on what you want to add to yours. Because I know how hard it can be coming up with ideas when you're first doing this. I had such a hard time when I was first doing it because I didn't know where to go next. So that's why I create these videos like this, is because I'm trying to help you find your own way of finding where to go next. That's my hope. Okay, so we have those 3 areas filled in. Then, through the magic of TV, dun dun dun, There we go. So this is the one that I did that I'm working off of today to show you, to give you an idea. So you can see that I did the little, you know, center shapes, that I started off with my first, and then I did one to each side, to the side, you see? Once you see the chaos, the organized chaos, then you can see it and go, oh yeah, there's the one that goes over. There's another one that, like, you can follow those around. Now, next, we've got these cool little moon pie or whatever they're called things in here. Then we've got some different variations of crescent moon, more or less the same in this one. And then I used a little bit of tipple and a whole lot of stipple to create all of this with stippling. I really like stippling. It's very, very meditative. It's very relaxing. I highly recommend it to everybody. And so let me just do a tiny little demo here of how I do the stippling. So I want to show you this just so that you have an idea. I'm going to do this one here. Okay, I'm going to do this one here. So we start off by putting the dots down where we know that we want the heaviest dots, right? Like in the bottom, the shadow. And then just bring them up. And then what I do, and I have to turn the page to do this. What I do is I get the page in the right position, and then I go along and I just go as far as my reach will take me, and I go back and forth along the area that I want to be the darkest. So I'm not going everywhere. I'm just going where I want it to be the absolute darkest. You see? Back and forth, just really gentle until I've got the darkest areas as dark as I want them, and then add a few extra dots, and that's what gives you sort of that more gentle feel. Another, I'm gonna do this one. So you do that again, you come around and you have your darkest on the outside. Right, so you want a nice dark base so that you can come off of your dark base and start going a bit lighter. And that's how you get that same look, but with a little bit more lightness to it. So you take this back part really dark, and then don't go same solid darkness all the way out. Change the value of your darkness. I hope that made sense. Okay, so that's how I do the stipple. Sorry, I have a little bit of dyslexia, and so tipple and stipple are so close together, and I do them both so much that now I get the words mixed up. So I apologize if I got the word wrong. Anyways, I am going to leave you here for today, because now it's just a matter of you filling in the rest of it. Doesn't need a lot of shading. As you see, I just did it with using the little bit of dot work. And something else that I did in my piece is I went over some of these lines and made them a lot darker so that they looked really shadowed. That's part of how I got that look. So on that note, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. I hope that you'll come back again next time. If you would like to see this video early before it goes out on YouTube, please join us on Patreon. We really appreciate any support that you can give us. And otherwise, I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.